In this video, we will explore PTE co-writing task 2. Write an email. Let me ask you a quick question. Imagine you open your PTE core exam and suddenly the screen shows this. You recently attended a company workshop. Write an email to your manager explaining what you learned and how the company can benefit from it. The clock starts ticking. You only have 9 minutes. You must write a clear professional email between 80 to 120 words. And here is the challenge. Most candidates do not lose marks because their English is weak. They lose marks because they don't understand the structure of the task. They either write too little or they forget to address all the points in the prompt. So in this video, I will explain everything you need to know about PTE core writing task 2, including the exact structure of the task, the skills the examiners evaluate, the concepts you must demonstrate, a real exam style prompt, a high scoring response, and finally a detailed explanation of why the response scores high. By the end of this lesson, you will know exactly how to write a high scoring email in the PTE core exam. Okay, so writing task 2 in PTE core exam is called write an email. In this task, you will see a short scenario describing a real life situation. Then you will be asked to write an email response addressing specific points. These situations are usually referred to everyday communication, such as workplace communication, request for information, compliance or feedback, suggestions or recommendations, invitations or confirmations. Got it? So, the goal of this task is to test whether you can communicate clearly and professionally in written English. So, you will have 9 minutes to complete the task, and your email must be between 80 to 120 words. So, this word range is extremely important because if you write less than 80 words, your response may be incomplete. And if you write too much, more than 120 words, your risk of getting grammatical mistake or losing clarity will increase. Okay, so the ideal response length is usually around 95 to 105 words. Got it? And when your email is evaluated, the examiners are not simply checking whether you answer the questions, they are evaluating four major skills. Let's understand each one. The first one is the content, which means whether you have answered all the points mentioned in the prompt or not. Most prompts contain three most prompts contain three bullet points. Your email must clearly address each of those points. If you ignore one of them, then your score will immediately drop. Okay? And the second one is form. Form refers to the email format, right? The structure. Your response must look like a proper email, which means it should include greeting, body paragraphs, closing line, and sign off. Even though it is a short email, it must still appear organized and professional. And the third one, of course, very important thing, grammar. Examiners also evaluate the sentence accuracy, sentence variety, correct verb tense. Candidates who score highly usually include a mix of simple sentences, complex sentences, and linking words. And the fourth one is your vocabulary. Your vocabulary should be appropriate for the situation. That is pretty important, okay? Relevant to the context. Professional, but it should be in a very natural way, more clear and precise. You don't need extremely advanced, fancy vocabularies, but you should avoid very basic, repetitive language. Now, let's talk about the structure. A strong email in the task usually contains five parts. First, the greeting, then, an opening sentence explaining why you are writing. Next, the main body addressing the prompt points, whatever given in the points, whether that has been addressed or not. And after that, closing sentence. And finally, the sign off part. Okay, so when you combine these elements properly, then your email becomes clear, logical, and easy to read. Now, let's look at a realistic exam question. This is exactly the type of prompt you might see in your PTE core exam. You recently attended a professional training workshop organized by your company. You have to write an email to your manager about the workshop. So in your email, you have to describe the workshop, you have to explain what you learned, and you have to suggest how the company could benefit from the training. Okay? So now let me give my response here. Dear Mr. Johnson, I'm writing to share my feedback on the professional training workshop I attended last week. The session focused on improving communication and teamwork in the workplace. During the workshop, the trainer introduced several practical strategies for managing conflicts, improving collaboration, and communicating effectively with colleagues. These techniques were demonstrated through interactive activities and real world examples. I believe these skills could greatly benefit our team, especially when working on complex projects that require strong coordination between departments. Thank you for providing this valuable learning opportunity. Kind regards, Daniel. You can give your name, okay? So now let's analyze this response. First one, understanding this explanation is extremely important because it helps you apply the same strategy in your exam. If you see the opening sentence, okay, the response begins with, I'm writing to share my feedback, so and so on the professional training workshop I attended last week. Can you see that? So this sentence immediately states the purpose of the email. This is important because professional email should clearly explain why they are written. That should be given in the first sentence. And addressing the first prompt point. You remember the prompt asked us to describe the workshop. So the response answers this with the session focused on improving communication and teamwork in the workplace. So this gives a clear summary of the workshop topic. Got it? And the second one, addressing the second prompt point. The second prompt was asking us to explain what was learned in the workshop, right? So if you see the response here, several practical strategies for managing conflicts, improving collaboration, and communicating effectively with colleagues. All these have been mentioned. So, can you notice the use of parallel vocabulary here? Managing conflicts, improving collaboration, communicating effectively. So, this type of structure shows strong language control. Got it? And the third prompt point that also we have addressed, how could the company benefit from the training? So here we have given in the response, these skills could greatly benefit our team, especially when working on complex projects that require strong coordination between departments. So this connects the training content to workplace improvement, which demonstrate logical thinking. And the closing sentence, the email ends with thank you for providing this valuable learning opportunity. So this closing line creates a polite and professional tone. And this response performs well in all scoring areas. For content, yes, it answers all prompt points clearly. For form, of course, 100% because it follows a proper email structure. For grammar, yes, without any doubt, we have included varied sentence structures. And vocabulary, we have used professional languages like communication, collaboration, coordination, strategies, right? This is how you need to incorporate the strategies that we have learned so far in your PTE core writing and email task. Okay, so that's all for today's video. Kindly like, share, and subscribe for more PTE core tips. See you in the next video. Bye bye.